What do you end up finishing?
47th.
That's not bad for a guy that I legit can't remember what his name was.
Yeah, I mean, his other claim to fame is that he lost in a 6-way playoff at the Andalusia Challenge de Cadiz. So, you take what you can get here.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now. Get yourself a deposit bonus of up to $250. Tambo is at the DraftKings Fantasy Golf World Championships in Detroit this week. He's competing for $1 million top prize, which means Ben Rasa is on the line, which means he is not competing for the $1 million top prize. How are you, sir?
I'd be better if I was competing for the $1 million top prize, but I am good, man. I'm happy to hop on, talk a little golf.
Yeah. Did you know that you could get a cut of Tambo's money? Did you know that?
I did hear that, which is very cool. Shout out to him. I'll be rooting for him. I've been close in that thing over the years, and I hope someone good people take it down. That would be fun to say.
Are you still playing in qualifiers at this point in time? I didn't even try to qualify. The only thing I try to qualify is for King of the Beach in football season.
I do once in a while for football. I didn't try to qualify this year for golf. I had been in it a couple years in a row. I came in second one year, and then I tapered off. But maybe next year I'll get back at it because they are fun. It is a really cool experience, and you never know.
Well, we're rooting for Tambo. If you want to root along with Tambo and potentially get your hands on 5% of his winnings, so if he wins $1 million, it's $50,000. If he comes in last, it's $20,000. So he's going to give away $1,000 of that. He said so. He'll give away 10%. I guess that's still 5% of that money. Either way, 5% of the winnings he gets for this weekend. You can do that by getting ballots in the draw on this show by using code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy. That is 40 ballots worth of entries into that draw to become a representative from the Pat Mayo Experience. The two other ways to do so, you can get 10 ballots by subscribing, rating, and reviewing, and turn on those automatic downloads on Apple Podcasts. You can do the same thing for Spotify. All the details in the description. All right? How you feeling about Detroit this week after the U.S. Open? The bread of the sandwich being signature events that, one of them had a cut, but it was barely a cut. We're back into, I feel like, what we actually like about DraftKings Golf.
I like this. Yeah, I mean, I love Travelers because I like the course, and actually last week was pretty good, but I like this. You got all sorts of options. You got a bunch of randos. This seems right in the wheelhouse. So we're gonna be naming some people that I didn't know existed only a couple days ago.
Did it surprise you to open the sports books this week and see that Luke Clanton was 90-1?
That was, again, we're talking about people that I didn't know existed. Shout out Florida State. But yeah, I mean, the numbers on some of these dudes are ridiculous, but this is a chance for one of these winless guys, and I got a big list of them. Maybe one of them breaks through.
You'd hope so. I bet on a few guys like under that idea this week. We'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to jump into Underdog right away and try to figure out a pick'em play right off the hop. I did two bogeys or worse unders to start off the week. It was Chris Kirk and someone else. It's in the newsletter, whatever it was. It was my initial gut reaction to the week. Two guys who can actually make some putts. But what do you think that we should be targeting here? Should we be trying to go for the birdies or better this week? Because they're all like 5.5, 5, 4.5 along that lines. Or is there like another particular angle you wanted to take? Because I have noticed with a lot of these guys, after we beat the crap out of Underdog on greens and regulations and fairways, they're not offering those this week.
I noticed that. Yeah, so you got to be a little flexible. I mean, that does seem like, it's not like they don't know that either, but at the same time, this course, there's just so many opportunities when you look at these par fives. There's serious birdie percentages out there, and you got a couple pretty short par fours in there. So even though it's lofty numbers, I still tend to think that some of these guys are going over this birdie or better number.
So do you want to do that? Do you want to do we take good putters, or do we try to fade bad putters and just hope it doesn't work out for them?
I think this is one where you can actually do the nice combination of both, where normally I'm advocating for one thing, but at a course like this, you really got to roll it. And there are some bad putters on this list that I think we might be able to short.
Well, I've bet on one of those bad putters. I added him to the card, but I mean, I would hope that he listen. If I lose my pick'em entry for round 1, but he ends up winning the tournament, I'll be satisfied with that outcome. That's not going to be a problem for me. And the drafts are going on right now, too. If you go into the draft page on Underdog, the Pat Mayo Experience Classic is up there right now. It's 3 max entry, $20 to play, rake free. So there's $10,000 in the prize pool. So please go fill that right now. Who's the name right off the hop that you do want to roll with here?
Well, what about my guy, Alex Noren? Right off the bat. Let's just get him out there.
So do you want to go lower than 68 strokes or birdies are better than 5.5?
I would rather go birdies are better with Noren. He's someone that I think when I always used to think of Noren, I used to think of like, European golf. He actually tears up easy courses. He's more built for this than I think I always anticipated. And I expect him to probably make a couple mistakes, but have a plenty of birdie looks. I actually think he goes pretty low and does get over that number.
Okay, so we'll try to put 3 people on this. So we'll put Noren higher than 5.5 birdies. I was thinking McNeely lower than 68 strokes in round 1.
I can get down with that. Obviously, we know he can do some things. He's on that kind of list of players that I'm like, maybe this is the spot for Maverick. Playing well, too. Everything looks good. Driver's good. Putter always can get really hot.
How about
I'm fine with Maverick.
Lower 5.5 birdies, Tom Kim?
I don't know what to do with Tom. Obviously, Tom Kim is, I guess, the class of the field here. I'll say this. I would rather go lower on his birdies than his like strokes I expect him to keep a pretty clean card, but he is someone, when he gets crazy hot with the putter, he's crazy hot. But if he's not, I don't really fear him.
Well, it comes down to, I think Tom Kim is on that list. I think obviously Zalatoris is on that list. Keith Mitchell would be on that list. Taylor Moore would be on that list. Like, the reason that Taylor Moore does well at this tournament every year is because he gains like 1.5 strokes per rounds on the greens. But he's just in a funk right now. Like, we could fade him pretty easily. I think we could go lower on his birdies are better instead of Tom Kim, unless that's what you wanted to do. Or we take he's 68.5. So if he shoots 4 under, we're screwed. But I would still even go higher on that. Just replace it with that.
He really is playing bad.
Yeah, like really bad.
Really bad. I didn't realize how bad he was playing.
But you get back to your happy place, and then all of a sudden you're draining 40 footers.
There is something to that, but man, Taylor Moore, because I didn't even notice because I'm so obsessed with Svensson as I always am, and they're in the same ballpark. But maybe we short Taylor Moore.
It's gonna look really dumb when he's like 8 under in the first round leader.
Yeah, that would be pretty dumb, but
like
that sounds like something I'd do.
The other one we could do like Min Woo higher than 68, Min Woo lower than 5.5 birdies. I do agree that this is a nice course for Min Woo, and I can see how he could tear it apart because the 5 he can get to all of the par 5s. That's not a problem. You mentioned the short par 4s, but if his putter doesn't come, like, he has no game anywhere else.
Yeah, Min Woo's another guy that again, super talent, there's no doubt, but I don't know. Now, he has been putting pretty well, but I still don't really fear that. I would rather short Min Woo or Taylor Moore, having looked at this.
Okay, do you want to short their strokes or their birdies?
Their birdies.
Okay. So
that's what I would say.
Okay, so we'll go to Taylor Moore, and we'll short
this is going to be so bad.
So he's at 5 birdies or better. So not 5.5. So 5 is a push on him.
And we got 68.5.
Yeah. I think I'd still go the lower the 5 birdies or better. So here's what we got.
So would I.
We got Noren, 5.5 birdies or better higher. Mav McNeely, lower than 68 strokes, so he needs to be 5 under or better. And then you have Taylor Moore, birdies or better, lower. And then with the anti-correlation, that 3 play on Underdog Pick'em gets you up to plus 632. So 6 to 1.
6 to 1.
Let's do it. $100.
I can live with that. Let's do it.
$100 pay you 632. There we go. let's play
Boom.
that. You can get the. I'll put the link right now down in the description so if people want to tail along. It'll also be in the newsletter later on this evening when I finalize everything else. But that's going to be the play. All right, I like it. Because I looked at the
I like this too.
Yeah, I looked at the weather a little bit earlier. And let's see here. It's not really much of anything. Like basically no wind to speak of in Detroit on Thursday. A little bit more on Friday, but nothing really substantial, like max gusts up to 15 miles per hour. So I don't really see a distinct wave advantage. It is slightly warmer in the afternoon on Thursday than it is, but you don't really get that big of a split on Friday unless you're like the very first people out on the course. It's like a 10 degree Celsius difference, which is like a 15 degree difference in terms of Fahrenheit, but it's not like it's cold on the course.
No, I'm not. I haven't really even considered doing anything too extreme there. And obviously, this is a full field, so there's going to be plenty of guys at every time, price point, all of that stuff. So I'm actually, like I said, for a bad event, I miss this, and we get a chance to really dig into some weird players.
Well, it's more fun to have this event as a standalone event rather than when it was the Myrtle Beach Classic and there is another event that obviously you're going to pay more attention to. It's fun to dig into this type of field.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like the Myrtle, that was opposite a major, I think. And it was like, I couldn't tell you much of anything that was going on there just because I wasn't paying attention. But this is the biggest game in town this week.
Let's talk about bets. Here's what I got. I got 6 for the week.
All right.
And I have 2 on the Euro Tour, and I can be talked into a few more. I got to confirm with Tom and Sky before I place my final Euro wagers. And you can check out their show on Mayo Media Network for the DP World Tour, the Italian Open this week. But this week for the Rocket Mortgage, I got Ryan Fox at 55 to 1. I used my 30% boost on Keith Mitchell to take him from 45 to 1 to 59 to 1. So 59 to 1 on Keith Mitchell. That's available at Bet365. Nikolai Højgaard, 60 to 1. And then I go Jake Knapp, 100 to 1 with 8 places. Andrew Novak, 100 to 1 with 8 places. And Pearson Cooney, 180 to 1 with 8 places. And those are the 6 for the Rocket Mortgage. For Italy right now, I bet this Galletti guy who's like 400 to 1 with 10 places, just tailing Sky. And I also bet Andrea Pavon, who made a run at the Dutch Open last week, got himself like a shot out of the playoff when all was said and done. Italian player. No one's really talking about him this week. They're talking about Guido, who just won, and Montesero, who put into charge last week as well. But Pavon's like, I mean, you followed Euro Tour enough. Remember when Pavon was good and then he lost the ability to drive the ball?
I do remember that. And now he got Shang-Tsung by the other Pavon, who's actually good. So been a tough scene over there. I'm just looking at the field to see if Max Kiefer is in it. I don't think he is.
I think that he is.
Oh. Well, if he is, that just means there's someone named, who the hell is that? What's
the name?
Guxin Chen. I like that. That's a cool name.
Yeah, Guxin. 2,500 to 1.
And Jonas Blix is there.
So is Jeff Overton. Former Ryder Cup player, Jeff Overton.
Brandon Stone is here. Okay. RCB. That if I make a Euro bet, it'll be RCB.
RCB is what, 80 to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, Willett's up there, 66. The play at the top apparently is Matthew Jordan, who I think you can get as high as 28 to 1 still. He's been bet down this week, but I think that's like the main play from those guys. That and like I saw that a lot of people are betting Callum Hill and Jonas Verman, who is American somehow, but very Dutch name on Johannes Verman, but he's 35. I probably just bet Matthew Jordan along with Pavon. Or I don't even know if it is Pavon if it's Italian, but it's Andrea Pavon, and then this Galletti guy from way down the list. Do you remember from the forget which Open Championship it was? I think it was like 2-3 years ago now. There was a low am and he was Italian, and just I don't know what happened to him.
No.
Yeah. These are the things that stick out in my mind. Joe Dean lost in a playoff last week. I thought he was going to win because I did put out that you have to abide by the rules of Euro Tour stuff. And I was mainly doing it just as a reverse jinx on my Guido bet. But just look at the top 10. Everyone who's in 7 shots of the lead, the guy that you've never heard of is probably going to win.
Yeah, that is not overly scientific, but extremely effective over there. But now I'm gonna have to dig into I gotta find this Italian guy.
Yeah. let's see. Low Italian Open Championship. I feel like he was playing with Rom. And yeah, it's gonna be tough to figure out. I think it was
This is going to be in the deep.
like 2002 maybe, or 2022. Sorry. Maybe.
Oh, I was going to say 2002.
Yeah, probably not 2002.
Okay. Let's see. That was, see, I blocked that out because that's the year Cam Smith won. So I don't, the PTSD is immense.
Someone in the comment section can tell us who that is.
Yeah.
Because
You let us know, people. I bet Svensson.
You did bet
55.
Svensson. You and Matt had a great week on the best bet.
Yes,
show,
we
by
did.
the way. You officially now hold the record as the longest odds on the best bet show winner by giving out Adam Svensson 6-1 to be top Canadian.
He was great. He did some things. Finau was great, but also just absolutely just a gut punch late. Obviously, you guys, Tom Kim was. It was a good. Like I said, it was a good week overall. I was really happy with it.
So is Svensson the only guy you've bet on this week?
No, that's what I should have done. I bet Toasty.
Okay.
Which is just I don't think I've ever bet him in my entire life. And then I'm gonna join you on Killa Keith, I think. And then I honestly, even though it's a short number, I put Cam Young on my card at 16.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, so it's a life hedge because then when he wins, I can be part of my entire Twitter feed that's just like, we did it. And if he loses, that means that Toasty probably won. And so I can celebrate that way.
Was there a particular type of player that you were looking for? Because it sounds like if you go with Cam Young, obviously you have the Val. I mean, he's one of the class players in this field. I just hate the odds on him. And then with Toasty, like he played really well. Where was it? In Houston when Scheffler won? Is it just because this is a bombs away course you can get away with that?
Yeah, that was mostly my line of thinking there. Just you could be really aggressive. You get the par fives, and you certainly can get away with that off the tee. So a couple of those guys. Svensson's just someone I've been playing a lot. I think the putter's starting to come along, and I didn't want to miss that. By some reason, he puts it all together.
He's done it before.
Yeah, it can be. Oh yeah, he's done it again. He's done it. So we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic. If Noren wins, I'm gonna be upset. And that is someone I might just have to life hedge bet. Is this guy's name Christo Lampart? No, he's from South Africa. Good job, Ben.
Yeah, he was the he's the South. He was like this. He just absolutely mashes it off the tee.
There's a lot of those dudes these days.
It's not a bad strategy if that's the way the route you want to go.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, everyone's betting Minwoo. I saw, which I get, but I feel like Ryan Fox is a very similar player for more than double the odds.
Ryan Fox is an interesting player. I didn't really look at him. I was more concerned about him on the DraftKings side. What is the number? What'd you get him at?
55.
Yeah. Oh, I found the Italian guy.
Who is it?
Filippo Celli.
What happened to that guy?
Let's see. I haven't got that far.
Is Filippo in the field?
Filippo.
He's on Sky's betting card.
He's on Sky's betting card?
We're betting him.
Oh, we're betting him? Done deal. Can't even spell this fucking guy's name.
Yeah. Filippo Celli. 23-year-old. He went to TCU.
No, that's Flavio. How do you spell this? F-L-I?
Filippo.
F-I-L-I. Oh, yeah, there he is. 125 to 1. Filippo Celli.
Yeah.
All right, let's bet.
Yeah, this guy.
Let's bet this guy. You can bet him 110 to 1 with 8 places. Done deal.
I have to bet this guy now. I didn't even know this was a person. Yep, he came in 2022 at the Open Championship. He played well.
It was 2022.
2022, he was a low amateur. Yep.
What did he end up finishing?
47th.
That's not bad for a guy that I legit can't remember what his name was.
Yeah, I mean, his other claim to fame is that he lost in a 6-way playoff at the Andalusia Challenge de Cadiz. So, you take what you can get here.
I mean, there's some good names. Some guys that I'm like, Dylan Fratelli is 150 to 1 in this field.
This field they just inserted random players just to see like who would notice.
Like Mike Lorenzo Vera led the PGA Championship at Harding Park through I think 36 holes with Haotong, and now he's 150 to 1 at the Italian Open.
Yeah, I really don't even. Schwab is over there. He's 250 to 1.
Ross Fisher, Marcel Siem, the Canadian, Aaron Cockrell. Oh, did you see this Dutch golf stuff?
Yeah, they just said to my juice man, just like,
Fuck
what?
off.
We don't want him. Yeah, just get out. We don't want him. It's so stupid too, because look at no offense to CT Pan and Roars.
Sabatini came in second last time.
Like, give me a break. Yeah, I know that. No respect.
How would they qualified for the Olympics and now their country is telling them they can't? Can they do that thing that the Russian guys did? Like they can play in the Dutch Federation?
Yeah, they just get the nameless flag. I don't know. I really don't understand that. Wait. Justin Hardy, you remember him?
Was it Justin Hardy or Justin Harding?
Oh, Justin Harding, that guy, the broom man.
Yeah, the guy who made every putt for 3 straight years and came like top 10 at the Masters.
He's in this field. It's the one with the extra 0 style. He's 2,500 to 1.
I mean, he can make every putt, so that's enticing.
I mean, what? How is that possible?
Well, when you got Patrick Reed at the top of the field, everyone's just running scared. Okay.
Yeah,
why is Patrick Reed allowed to play in this event?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Because I get like Peter's played in Belgium. It was the Belgium Open. He's from Belgium. Sure, make an exception for him. But why is Patrick Reed in the Italian Open?
Yeah, well, you gotta have your representative. I know. I don't know. I have no explanation. This Euro field is giving me anxiety. There's a lot of stuff in here that I got a lot of questions about.
Patrick Reed is playing in the Italian Open. Francesco Molinari is playing in Detroit.
Yeah, it's a trading places episode.
Ugh.
Who the hell is Frederick Lacroix?
Oh, he's a French guy, isn't he?
I thought that was the Formula One driver.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe he's taking up golf.
Honestly, that wouldn't shock me given this field. Okay. Man, I'm gonna end up dumping some fun coupons on this. I have to bet some of these guys.
Well, they have like the Outlaw Tour people here. You have like Yannick Paul and Callum Hill. Connor Symon's in the field. So you just got a whole collection of people here. It's just funny that the guys at the very top, like this, like these guys must be absolutely terrible at this point, considering like Laurie Cantor is 22 to 1.
Yeah, again, the names I recognize, most of them are like 200, literally 200 to 1. Like Matthew Southgate, 100 to 1. Okay.
Yeah, a guy I've bet on before. Antoine Rosner's 45 to 1. Like he was a top 20 player in the world, I think like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. All the guys I recognize are being lapped by Jesper Svensson and Nicholas, another guard. Who's Norgard?
Yeah,
Did they just like morph?
Norgard
and Noren?
Norgard Muller. Not afraid to bet that guy at like the Barbasol every year and he comes dead last.
And Xander Lombard's here. Man, what a field.
I gotta tune into that. I think it's a new course over in Italy as well. Gotta go check that out. Anyway, that's our Euro Tour deep dive of the week. One and done for us. I went with Keith Mitchell. Jeff went with Pendrith, and Cust went with Ricky Fowler. That's for our 3-man competition. For the overall, I actually had a good week last week. I jumped back. I had fallen out of the money after being in the money with both my entries. Now I'm in 1,500th in one of them. and the one that I rallied from like 3500 place 2 months ago. I'm in the money. I'm just inside the top 500 because I still had Scheffler available on that team, and I used him last week. So this week, I have the option of Tom Kim, Chris Kirk, Steven Yeager, Bobby Mack, Fowler, Nikolai Højgaard, Jake Knapp, Ryan Fox. Who would you go with here?
I mean, obviously Tom Kim is someone that you probably have available if you want to go, I don't want to say conservative, but he is some of the class of the field. I would probably go with either Højgaard or honestly Ryan Fox. I know you bet him. I don't know if you like the double dip, but I kind of have some interest there.
Yeah, I'll use Ryan Fox. I'm going to use Keith Mitchell on my main team. He's my favorite play this week. So he's going to miss every 2-foot putt. Bank on that. And then I'll use Ryan Fox on the other team. If there's a week to like get tricky, it's this week. Like maybe you won't use Tom Kim at this point, although you can probably use him at the Scottish. You could probably use him at the Open Championship just based on his style and his performance on links golf. And even Min Woo, if you wanted to save him for that, you probably don't for the Open just because you probably have better players available. Some of the live guys, whatever it might be. But if everyone's going to use Tom Kim and Cam Young, it's a pretty good reason not to use those guys, I think.
Oh, obviously a large amount. You know, when you get to events like this, it's always tricky with that, the game theory, because the best players in the field are not guys that potentially have been crossed off. You didn't burn them at majors, most likely. You didn't burn them at elevated events. So it's more wide open. I know you mentioned Yeager, and he's obviously one of the, shorter odds players. What's he been doing?
Jeff bet him.
Yeah, just because the reason I had some interest, just because not that I comped it to Houston, but I did a lot with Toasty, and I kept looking at Houston. And obviously that's where he finally did it with the putter. Interesting.
I would think I would think Bunny Ranch and Mexico and Valspar would be the ones I would be looking at this week, because like similar field type of thing. And obviously at Valspar you can't go like crazy with your driver, but if you're hitting your driver well, it's a cheat code at that course.
Yeah, I mean that's where obviously with some of those type of courses, Keith Mitchell, he's got a knack for that type of stuff. So
we have to make sure that there's a place where he can miss here, where he hits it by like a volunteer's car and gets a free drop, because that was imperative to his T17 at the Valspar when he went into the final round with the lead.
Yeah, Keith does some things, but he's like counterintuitive in my mind. At some of those more technical layouts, he actually thrives.
Yeah, it's strange. Maybe Honda at the same time, too. Guys that can hit driver really well. Because Jake Knapp did really well at Honda the week after Mexico. And that's not a course. And Cam Young did as well. Killer Keith has obviously won there in the past. Ricky has won both those events to look back at it. It's a course where if you're not hitting your driver well, you're toast. But if you can hit it really well, it becomes a huge scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that is kind of that formula. And you mentioned, obviously Killer Keith, Kirk,
Novak.
Min Woo. Yeah, Novak. There's names, and I'm gonna be comping to stuff like that. The shame Dave Seifert isn't here.
Oh man, whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know. I was thinking about that because of Luke Clanton. I was thinking about Florida State golfers, and I don't know what happened to him.
Is Daniel Berger still the guy right now on tour now that Brooks left?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there was that guy. His name was John Pack.
John Pack. I think he won on Korn Ferry last week.
Well, there we go. Florida State.
Double stud. John Pack. Yeah, he did. He won on Korn Ferry by 3.
Oh, well.
Beat some of my favorites, too. He beat Harry Higgs was in 4th. Brent the Tent Grant also tied for 4th. These guys are earning their card. We'll see him next year.
See you next year, John Pack.
Love it. That guy's earrings are out of control, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, he's got some flair, but I respect that.
The Pat Mayo Experience is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes you need to get something off your chest. Lord knows I do. And one of the biggest things that can cause is big stressors in our life. Whether they're big or they're small, bottling it all up can really start to affect us very negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. And it's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries and really start to affect your life in a positive way. And it might even be some stuff that you're not even really thinking about that you can unlock and really start to improve your life for the better. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge if you're not liking it. So, get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/PatMayo today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. Let's switch to DraftKings. Let's talk about this. Anything off the top you want to do? I'm not playing Tom Kim this week, and I'm not playing Cam Young.
With you on Tom Kim, I'll definitely be under. Cam Young, I want to see kind of where. So this is always what's fascinating because the pricing is the pricing, but you're paying up for what? Like that's what's with a floor that's in the 5K basement. Like it's a really awkward build because like, oh, I have all this extra money to go get Norin, Minwoo, Cam Young, and Tom Kim. That's not exactly what I want to pay up for.
So what I'm seeing right now in terms of ownership, like everyone over 9,600 is going to be like 20% or more owned. So like Pendrith, Bhatia, Norin, Minwoo, Cam Young, and Tom Kim should be close to 20% or higher. I'd guess Pendrith and Tom Kim are the highest owned. Maybe Norin. Maybe one of those guys does fall down a little bit. This is the 9th week in a row Tom Kim has played, by the way. And the 8th week in a row, Bhatia has played.
That's Sanjay-esque. That's a lot.
And
Man,
then
9 weeks in a row?
Yeah. So like Jager's a little bit less, but probably like mid-teens. And then you have Ricky and Zalatoris, who just legit no one is playing.
Yeah, so those are the two fascinating. I couldn't agree more. Not going to be popular, certainly relative to the range. I tried to play Ricky at Memorial, and it was very bad. And then he putted crazy last week. Oh, man. I get it as maybe a second man, and I'm just not sure. Like, can I really start my teams with one of them?
Well, you kind of hit on it. Like, how much better do we think that Tom Kim, like, if you had to tier this field out in terms of, like, actual ability and, like, how much you trust someone, overall upside, like, yeah, Steven Jaeger can most definitely win this tournament. Do you think that Steven Jaeger is a better player than Will Zalatoris? I do not.
No, neither do I. And that's where it's, again, to me, when I picture fields like this, the win equity is very condensed at low percentages because none of these guys, and you see it in the odds board. Like we don't have a guy that's 4-1 and a guy that's 8-1. Like Tom Kim and Cam Young lead the board if they don't win. And I don't particularly think that Tom Kim is going to win. It's wide open for some really weird builds this week.
So I'm looking at the Fantasy National Simulator, fantasynational.com/Mayo, to get your hands on that. And the app. Ben, have you used the app yet? You got to be using the app.
I did not. I have to download it.
You got to download the app, and you need a Fantasy.
I will do that.
You need the Fantasy National membership to do it. It's on the very top of the page. Just hit it. iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. It's the best way to follow golf. Honest to God, it's awesome. I'm looking at the sim odds right now. The guy with the highest win equity per hour simulator is Aaron Rye.
And that's, again, this is the point. Like if Aaron Rye
with 3.7% win equity.
Yeah, and if he was 9,800, if it was an extra $1,000, people would be like, "Great, I have 9,800 left. I'll play Aaron Rye." But they're gonna have 9,800 left, and they're gonna be like, "Okay, I gotta go play Pendrith or Bhatia," and that's where it's a really weird feel because I don't think there's much of a difference between Keith Mitchell and Aaron Rye and some of the guys literally at the top.
Well, that was the whole point that I wanted to get to. Like, do you think that there's that big of a distinction between Alex Noren and Chris Kirk?
No, absolutely not. And look at what are you talking about? $2,100 difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even Bobby Mack, who's playing great golf right now.
It's very interchangeable. I mean, Pendrith was in the base. I would know because I was playing him. Like, it wasn't that long ago, and I know form does matter. Pendrith earlier this year would have been like potentially in the 5K range at this tournament, certainly in the 6s with the way he was playing, and now he's almost 10,000.
I went back and I watched the first few rounds of the past few years of this tournament. Saw Sam Ryder hole out from the middle of the fairway, so I may have to play him. He's locked in at this course.
I mean, he does I think, what is it? They have that challenge for the zip code.
I had the 313.
Yeah, he does three, like, that's it. He lives in the 212 area code. Like, that guy, it's just a joke.
Do you think they would give you the giveaway if at the 313 you went 213?
Yeah, no, that's a loss. Just so is it birdie ace eagle or is it eagle ace eagle?
It's eagle ace birdie, I think.
Eagle, okay. So not that that's
imagine get the eagle and the ace and not getting the birdie after that.
You just bogey the 316. Yeah, that's grounds for dismissal.
So back to ownership for a second. So all those guys are going to be pretty highly owned. Then you have like this next tier where McNeely and Rye are going to be pretty highly owned. Bobby Mack a little bit less. Mitchell a little bit more. Davis Thompson a little bit less. And then you enter the dead zone of Fox, Kirk, Thorbjornsen, Ben Griffin, EVR, Hubbard, Svensson. All these guys are going to be single-digit ownership. All of them.
And that's where it's like, is it feasible? And I think the answer tends to be yes, to just take like 3 or 4 of them in a lineup, have one guy above, one guy below, and call it a day and just say, I'm going to try to spike a winner from a mid-range, 30 to 50 to 1 outright.
Matt Wallace is getting a little bit of love in the 7s, as is Svensson, like right around 10%. And then you have like Daniel Berger at 7,000 flat. He might be right around 10%. I'd still think he's probably a little bit lower. Fantasy National is telling me that people are playing Chandler Phillips. I'm playing Chandler Phillips, but I can tell you that people are not going to be playing Chandler Phillips unless the optimizer spits him out. It's Justin Lauer from the 6Ks and Troy Merritt, it looks like, from the 6Ks that people are gravitating towards. I would think that Jake Knapp probably ends up getting up there as well, or SH Kim, based on the profile. Everyone's playing bombers with putters. Jake Knapp has been able to do that. The funny thing looking back into Jake Knapp, like if you go and just like bring up his Fantasy National page, it's just filled with red. And I already have this written up for the newsletter, so it's not breaking news to anyone who will read that later on tonight if you're watching this afterwards. But it's just a sea of red. Like he's been absolutely terrible. But the thing to consider, and I don't know how you try to parse this out in your mind, but since he won in Mexico, he's basically only played in majors and signature events. And the ones that he hasn't, he's actually played really well. Like he was 48th at the Travelers last week, missed the cut at the US Open, missed the cut at Memorial, missed the cut at the PGA Championship, 58th at Wells Fargo. Like those are his last 5 results. Those are terrible. But he was 8th at Craig Ranch. He missed the cut in Houston, and he was 4th at the Honda, and then he won in Mexico, and then he was 3rd at the Farmers, which was not a signature event. So these non-signature events, he's playing really well.
Yeah, there is something kind of to that. It is a hard evaluation because it's like, okay, this guy was playing like Ben Martin. I always think of Ben Martin. Every time he seems to tee it up, he's solid. And I look at his like recent form, it's like nice, like made 6 straight cuts over the last 2 months or 3 months. But if he was playing in all these majors, like it would probably tell a much different story. So it's like, am I penalizing guys for actually getting into these events and being outmatched a little bit? I do think there's something to that, but at the same time, if he steams the game, I don't know. There's weird pivots in the range in the mid 6s that I'm pretty comfortable with.
You could just go down to $5,400 and play Rico Hui, who is number 1 in par 5 scoring and number 2 off the tee over the past 12 rounds.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Who the hell's Kevin Doherty?
He just mashes it off the tee and literally can't make a putt.
Okay, that seems to check out of what I'm seeing. So I had a bunch of I had a group of people written down from him. Johnny Vegas was in that group.
I'm playing Vegas this week.
Okay. I mean, I get if he could ever make some on the greens, we're going to be in business. And he did in Canada.
Well, herein lies the problem. I mean, Saku Koivu's in this field too. Jackson Koivun, the guy who played at Memorial. But Tambo would always say, do you need to play these guys? I like Rico Hui this week. But if I just kind of said I'm not playing Tom Kim and I'm not playing Cam Young, why do I need to play guys in the 5Ks?
And that's where it gets really, that goes back to that larger point. You're saving salary so you can pay up for For who? For Zalator? Like, you don't need to make that hero call. So unless you're like really peppering the nines, you're gonna have so much excess salary that it doesn't even work logically.
So you can build a lineup like this. One that I like if you do want to make sure you play. Well, I'm playing Pearson over Parker Cootie this week. Just make sure you get PI in there. Oh, PI, the golf detective. I need to come up with a better name. Not so much on the fly, but some sort of detective. PI Cootie.
I like that.
He'll track you down. He's in a film noir out here. So if you go Cam Young, Minwoo, you can go Knapp and Cootie at 64 and 59. Then you got 8,200 left, and everything kind of falls into place. You can go Svensson and McNeely if you wanted to. Like, that's a good lineup, I think. Like, I like Knapp, I like Cootie, and you just stacked it.
If you again, it's almost like the paydown options build the lineup for you, because once you do that, it's going to free you up immensely up top, and there are so many guys in those lower ranges with this field that I think are firmly playable.
So what I think I'm going to do, I'll play that one, and then I'll try to do. I like doing 5-1 onslaughts with a balance build. So McNeely. I mean, you could just build a pure balance lineup. Like, we start with McNeely, who everyone's betting to win this week anyway, over Tom Kim, who is $3,000 more. You could just build like the ultimate leveled lineup. Yeah. You can go McNeely,
him, Rye, Mitchell,
McIntyre, Mitchell, Fox. Who else did I have here? Who's in the mids? Højgaard and 84 left. Davis Thompson or Chris Kirk or Thorbjornsson or whoever the hell you want. Hell, let's even get rid of Højgaard here, and we'll put in Rye into this lineup. Then we have $6,900. Who's the pay down guy?
Ryo, my guy.
Oh, Hisatune?
Yeah.
Oh, throw in Novak, because I'm betting Novak this week. And we could even spend an extra. We could get ourselves up 2 more if we wanted to. But now you have a lineup that's McNeely, McIntyre, Mitchell, Fox, and Rye with Andrew Novak. Like, that's not. The win equity of this lineup is not significantly different than the one we just built that had 2 of the top 3 guys in it.
Exactly, because it's all super condensed, but the difference in ownership, the difference in like kind of path to victory when you get in these large field tournaments, your permutations will be a lot different when you build like that.
And I like all of the guys that I put into this lineup. Like, I like McNeely. I don't think that I'm going to bet him unless the number comes back to earth a little bit. But I like Bobby Mack. I considered betting him again. I just don't think that he's going to win twice in a month. Then Mitchell, I bet. Fox, I bet. Rye, I didn't. But I always like him for DraftKings purposes. And then Novak, like a guy who I bet. So we can keep that lineup, but we can change it a little bit more. Like, if you don't want to have Mav as your top guy, you take Novak down to Cootie or Hui or Knapp or whoever. We'll go P.I. Cootie. And now we have an extra $1,000. We can take McNeely up to Bhatia, or you can take Rye up to Bhatia or Pendrith, like one of those moves. Yeah, Mitchell into Pendrith. So Pendrith is now your top guy.
Yeah, and starting in the mid-9s, like, starting with Pendrith sounds insane. Starting in the mid-9s sounds very normal. So it's just like getting used to that. In these tournaments, it's just something you kind of have to do.
Yeah, and you can even swap out Pendrith and use, let's say, Minwoo, and then you can turn Ryan Fox into Højgaard instead. You can do a 1v1 swap.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's Minwoo, McNeely, Rye, Mitchell with Højgaard and Cootie. So you have 4 top-end guys. Højgaard, who should be a top-end guy in this field, you would think, based on his talent, and then you have Cootie, or whoever you like at 6,000.
Yeah, again, the mid-range in this field, every single one of those guys with a couple different results could be in the, like, I know you could say that at a lot, but to me, I view it differently than at stronger fields where the top is the top. This is almost interchangeable between the 7s and the 9s.
And the 8s and the 10Ks aren't dissimilar.
No, they're not. Like, Chris Kirk could be, you already said Chris Kirk and Noren, like, if they were flipped in price, obviously Noren would be very, very, very popular, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like, what is going on? Whereas at a major, like, you're not going to find like Xander at 8K randomly.
No, you just get like Finau at 8K and people are like, Finau's as good as Scheffler.
Yeah. Womp. Tried that last week.
Are you playing Thorbjornsson at all?
don't know what to do with him. I may have a small piece, but honestly, no. I like Kirk. I really like Svensson, and I may just take some EVR stabs. Because that's just what I do.
The stats like EVR. The sim likes EVR. I like EVR. I can just never get to playing him. He just terrifies. I've been on him when it goes bad, and when it goes bad, it's so bad, which shouldn't make a difference.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, if he misses the cut by 1 or 30, who cares?
Yeah, there's just a level of I know how that goes with him. When it goes bad, it goes dangerously bad. I will give you that. But man, this should be, some of the guys that I do like and I've talked about in the profile that I'm building, EVR fits almost all of that, and he's very reasonably priced.
And he's another one who has been playing the majority of majors and elevated events at the moment. Like, I mean, he hasn't been good at some of the other ones. He made the cut at, in Canada, wasn't good there. That was a bit of a shorter course. He played Valero and missed the cut, but even to go back a little bit, it's been all elevated events and majors, so his results are bad. Then you go back to that sort of Jake Knapp category. He was 8th in Mexico, and then he was 2nd at Honda the week after that. I mean, he gained a ton putting, but he also gained a ton ball striking as well. That maybe this is his style of course.
I tend to think it is, honestly.
Not a lot of water either.
No, well, he can do.
It.
I didn't think that. Yeah, he'll find it. He will find it.
All right. What else are we doing? Thorbjornsen, Ben Griffin, yes or no? Stats love him too.
I'm gonna go no.
Okay. He got LASIK eye surgery.
That well, that's good. It's good to be able to say.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, I don't. What about
what
about Nick Dunlap?
I can't do it with that guy, man. He just loses.
I've never played him.
He loses so many strokes putting. It's unbelievable. I don't know how he won a tournament at like 29 under.
Well, there's one simple reason for that.
Because you bet on Bez.
Certainly did. That was the true killer this year.
Yeah, it's funny. He's actually been quite good on the greens. It's just I saw him last week. He lost 7 strokes putting. And then at Heritage, when I did bet him and used him on DraftKings, he lost 6.2 strokes putting. But he's another one that's only playing in elevated events and majors.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously everything got accelerated to an extreme for him, but I don't know.
He's not great off the tee. Now, you don't need to be great off the tee at this course. It just feels like it's the path of least resistance, if that's the way that you want to go. But you would need to be very dialed, like drive okay. Kind of like what Ricky and Hadwin did last year. Like drive okay, make a ton of putts, and hit your irons really well. So it's plausible.
There's no world where we would play Charlie Hoffman, right?
I don't think so. I don't think that you have to.
Yeah, that just seems like an insanely bad idea.
Hubbard hasn't missed a cut since Mayakoba, or not even Mayakoba. The RSM was the last time. Mark Hubbard has yet to miss a cut this year.
But he's on like he's on the Svensson plan where it's like he's yet to miss a cut, but he also has like 0 top 20s. It's a weird blend he's got going on.
Yeah, he had a top 5 at Pebble in that 3-round event. He was top 20 at Farmers, and he doesn't have a top 20 since.
Yeah, that's a long time to have not missed. That's wild.
Well, it's like I went back and looked at the Ricky number. Cust has picked Ricky this week because I'm pretty sure he was the only guy when I texted Cust that Cust like for sure knew was in the tournament, so he took him. Mm-hmm. Ricky doesn't have a top 15 since winning this tournament last year.
Yeah, that's quite disturbing. But also believable. Man, there's so many guys.
I think you may have talked me onto Cam Young as a DraftKings play.
Yeah. Like I said, of the very top, Cam Young, he fits some of my lineups, and I do think it's just class wise. What is that? This is a week to talk about not scientific. I'm trying to expand my all-time player pool, and this is a great week to do it. There's a couple guys in the field that I have never, ever played that I think I could get to.
Hit me.
So this guy's been around. I don't think I've ever played the Crow Man, Trace Crow.
Okay. Any reason why?
Why I'm playing him besides the fact that I just want to expand the all-time pool? I don't know. Caught some of them in Canada. I like guys where I I guess you could say he's more of like a short game guy, but I actually like don't know what he does. Kind of does a little bit of everything. Sometimes he gains off the tee. Irons are very hit and miss. I do think he's a pretty good putter. I always like that because maybe you incepted me because you mentioned Fratelli on the other side, but there's a couple players that I don't know anything about that strike me like that. There's this Patrick Fishburne guy.
Yeah, Morpheus.
Like, yeah, Morpheus, exactly. Like he did some crazy things in
Zurich.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the Matrix, but also at Zurich. So that's two good places. Who the hell's Joe? No, never mind.
I don't think you need to play these guys, man. I really don't.
I'm picking a couple of them. I'm playing Joel Dahman.
Okay. I mean, you could play the man in the high tower. Or no, sorry, that's not him. Jacob Bridgman. The Bridgman you could play. He makes a ton of putts and hits his irons well.
Jacob Bridgman would expand the all-time player pool. Max Geiserman.
Oh, great. Greiserman.
All-time. Yeah.
Are you playing Cam Davis?
I honestly kind of want to pivot. So I think most people go to Hogard. What about, I don't think this is even Megamind. What about just playing Sam Stevens?
I have him in the pool right now. I have him and Lee Hodges in the pool. Just we were all about Lee Hodges 2 weeks ago, and now that he's in some shit field, we're out. Like it's probably a good time
Yeah, it's
to
old,
play
old
him.
news.
Yeah. Like I might even go back and bet him at 90-1. He seems like he should be good here.
Yeah, I think mostly it's not that I don't like Cam Davis. I just think I might pivot to Stevens, Hodges. You've got Berger there. I like Royo. Honestly, Doug Gim is just sitting there.
Yeah, the Reaper. He hasn't been reaping lately, though.
No, he hasn't been taking souls, but
He's been taking my soul.
I could live with that.
He's been making cuts. It's just he was actively good at the beginning of the year, and now he's no good. And I can't even give him the excuse that he's playing in majors and signature events because he's not.
No, he just sucks.
So I built a chalky lineup here. I'm trying to figure out like what would be the most duped chalk lineup of the week. So I got to Tom, Kim, and McNeely with Aaron Rye at the top. And then Lauer, Berger, and Wallace.
Yeah, it's going to be something. So that's the thing. The chalky lineups this week, I'm almost very, very confident they're going to just land in the sevens because you can do it pretty easily.
And it'll probably be Wallace or Svensson and Berger. Those would be the three that I would identify as like the common picks of the sevens.
Yep, I would agree.
And Lauer does seem to be getting a little bit of steam, I suppose, in the sixes. And I get it. I'd rather play Knapp.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to get there and they're going to have a laundry list of, there's so many like somewhat playable guys there. I think where you completely fall off the cliff and it's unnecessary is if you try to hero someone in the fives, unless you're really building a unique lineup.
P.I. Cootie.
Yeah, like, who that?
Like, why is
Wesley Bryan's here?
Yeah, Wesley Bryan is here. He's probably making a YouTube video out of it. But like, why is Cootie different than Lauer? Honestly.
So, yeah, I mean, again, the tour. I understand these guys are related, so it's a little different. I have trouble with the. Now you got two of them, the Blom, whatever those guys. That screwed me up for years. I think I've been watching Parker too much.
Parker was better for a while because he was hitting his irons really well. But now, like, Cootie just went through a swing change. So he's been off for 3 weeks, like really honing that in. But he's been playing some really good golf coming into it. And dude is, I don't want to say electric on the greens, but he makes a ton of putts. A ton.
Yeah, he can putt.
Like his approach play kind of sucks, but it's off and on. Just like his short game, it's off and on. It's been more on than off recently. And then the driver's been getting progressively better. But it's one of these tournaments where if you can get your driver dialed in a little bit, hit your approaches okay, especially your wedges. He's really good from that short wedge range, which you're going to see a ton of. And he's gaining 6 strokes putting. Like he's going to be good.
There is a world where Kelly Craft is good this week.
I mean, my stats tell me that. My stats tell me that every week that Kelly Craft is going to be good.
That's true.
That never really happens.
No. But in theory. I only had a couple names written down on the 5K range, and Kelly Craft was one of them.
I in the newsletter I released on Tuesday, I just looked up like easy courses and who scores well. Chan Kim and Crazy Carl are two guys who are up there.
Chan Kim was on my list.
Terrible form for Chan Kim.
I tried to play Chan Kim maybe like a month ago. It didn't work. I think it was at Byron Nelson. But yeah, Wilkinson's here.
Tim Wilkinson?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm very serious.
Holy
He's here.
shit.
He's
He's
ready.
That is a throwback to the beginning of DraftKings golf.
Yeah, no, he's just lurking.
The last time he played in a tournament was 2021.
He's rested.
Like he was the like primo. I feel like he was like the ball striking king at one point, although I'm looking at his stats and that is just objectively untrue.
The insane thing is that like I'm looking at his stats too, and I've played Tim Wilkinson a lot, and I'm truly wondering, where did I do that? Because at no point could that have helped me.
Here it is. Here's why we were playing him, because he gained on approach in like 13 straight events in 2016. And yes,
Yeah, it probably checks out.
That's how long we've been doing this.
Dear God.
The double paydown option, a silky Tim Wilkinson and the ass wagon. Take whoever you want.
That is a combo that I've done many a times. Are you what's the deal with this Benjamin James fella?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're like Wilson Fuh.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this is just
Yeah, we're just naming names to say them right now. I think I'm going to make a lot of builds like that lineup that I talked about, where it's like McNeely. It's from like start with McNeely or start with maybe one of these mid-8 guys. I'm going to have some like Minwoo teams, some Cam Young teams, and those two guys paired together. But then I think I'm just dropping straight to the 8s and trying to make balanced lineups or even a 5-1 onslaught.
I'm probably going to do the same. I kind of am going to go like, yeah, like almost like reverse out, like a 1-4-1. One, maybe guy north of 9, 4 guys from Maverick to Svensson, and then one wherever I need to go salary-wise.
Just to say, here are the guys that I'm playing from 6K and down this week. I got Novak, Vegas, Matty Schmidt, Knapp, Chan Kim, Neil Shipley at 63, Cam Champ at 62, Cootie, and Rico at 5,400. We'll see if I actually need those guys, and I'll figure out how many lineups I want to play. But those are the ones that I have starred at the moment. Obviously, I bet Novak, and I bet Knapp, and I bet Cootie, so I'm probably going to be playing them. But Champ is like the ultimate could mega brain his way into a win here.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Ryo, Toasty for me. I'm going to play Joel Dahman. I just have a good feeling about him this week.
The bucket hat?
Man, Ben Silverman. Yeah, no. This is where I'm gonna probably tail you on Cootie. I think that's really interesting. He really can roll it, and it just seems like there's a lot of variance in that game, and I like that.
Let's play a head-to-head lineup. We cannot play the same player twice. It is a draft, and since you are the guest, sir, that means you can pick first. Then I get 2. You can have your choice. You can pick first, and then I get 2 picks, or I can pick first, then you get 2 picks.
Oh no, I will go second snake. You can go first.
All right, I'll take Keith Mitchell to start.
I'm gonna take Noren and Jaeger.
Okay. So we are not on the same build at all here. Fox. I'll take Ryan Fox and Mav McNeely.
Okay. Let's see, just plugging this in. I'll take Rye.
Okay. Throwing a wrench into my plans here.
Yeah.
You have Rye. I'll take Bobby Mack. That's not enough. Bobby Mack. Ugh. Maybe I shouldn't have taken Bobby Mack. That was not a great idea. 52 is not helping me at all. Shit. Box myself. No, Hoy is 5,400, not 52.
Looks like old Tim Wilkinson makes an appearance.
Tim Silkinson.
Yeah, man. Is it my pick here? Or are we waiting?
No, it's I took Bobby Mack. I'm trying to
All right.
figure out what I'm going to do. Because you took a ride. It really throws, like I said, a real wrench into my plans. Okay, I'll take. If I can get. I'll take Højgaard with my next pick. So Bobby Mack and Højgaard.
So I've got Noren, Jaeger, and Rye, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take Svensson. And I'll take Poste.
Okay, I'll take Chris Kirk with my last pick. So my lineup is from most expensive to least expensive. McNeely, McIntyre, Mitchell, Fox, and Kirk, all in the 8Ks, and then Højgaard at 73.
I'm going to close out with Matt Wallace. And so for me, I've got Noren, Jaeger, Rye, Svensson, Wallace, and Toste.
I actually like that lineup.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. It comes together nicely. It's got some weird, but it works incrementally. It's kind of a little different than I imagined, but I actually like it.
All right. Oddshopper.com. Ben Rasa, what you got going on over there?
Yeah, just listen. It's obviously a fun time of sports. New sports coming on, old sports clearing out. And whether you're playing, if you're betting traditional sports on the books, that's great. But if you're playing the pick'em sites, underdog, stuff like that, we have tools to make your life easier. Get that value. So if you want to stop by, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy. Get that deposit bonus. Get your ballots in the draw for Tambo's money, and then play Alex Noren higher than 5.5 birdies, Maverick McNeely lower than 68 strokes, and Taylor Moore lower than 5 birdies or better in round 1, and win 6 times your money. Pay it all off all in one shot.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and you can tail this entry down in the description of this show and in the newsletter, which is completely free, which you can sub to on Substack under Mayo Media or down in the description. Right now, smash the like while you're here, sub to the channel, share the show around. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.